My name is Jimmy Fordham, and I am the slot pilot for the Titan Aerobatic team. We are now the Titan Aerobatic team. For years, we've been Aeroshell, and we still use Aeroshell oil, for those of you wondering. It's still the best oil in the world. We appreciate that oil. And it was strictly a business decision. You know, we had a better business decision with Titan, and we took it, and so far it's been fantastic. It's really, really fun to work for Titan Aviation Fuel and Buddy Stallings and his family, and we're having a blast. We're right now, I said I'm the slot pilot, but I'm actually flying the lead position right now. Mark Henley had a medical condition, and he's working through that, and we are hoping that he can get back toward the end of this year, but definitely next year. I want to get back to flying slot, let Mark have all that lead stuff, and I really enjoyed the position. I fly on the team in slot, but sometimes you got to step up and do what you have to do, and they needed me to lead, so I'm leading. And that's been good. We've had, it's like anything else. When you haven't flown that position in a while, it takes a little getting used to, and there's a lot more to do in lead than there is just flying the airplanes like it is in a wingman position. But it's worked out good. Yeah, I've started flying when I was a kid. My dad was a pilot, and all the team members are in the same boat pretty much. We all started very young, and it's just something that got into my blood, and I knew it's what I wanted to do at a very young age. And so I worked hard and was fortunate to have a dad who was a flight instructor, and we had a 172, and I was able to take advantage of that and get ratings and stuff a lot earlier than most people can. And so I got out of high school. I basically had walked into college as a sophomore. It had commercial instrument, multi, seaplane, flight instructor at 18 years old. And when I got to college, that was great having a year out of the way. And also I was able to, work some in college as an instructor and doing some charter work also, and help build time. But the thing that I try to do with kids that I give check rides to, and I work with a lot of younger people at Louisiana Tech University and several other universities in the South where I'm giving check rides, and is just don't quit. I think you get started into this thing, it's not easy. It takes time and it's expensive. And it was that way when I was doing it. It's that way now. But you eat the elephant one bite at a time. You take one bite, get it digested, take another bite, just keep plugging away at it, and keep dreaming about, like I dreamed about flying airplanes. I mean, I used to, that's what I wanted to do. And I had that dream out there, and I worked hard to get to that dream, and get successful in it, and fly corporate aircraft and charter work, and eventually Northwest Airlines and then Delta Airlines when we merged, and retired from Delta, and now then doing DPE work and flying for the Titan Aerobatic team. And it's a great opportunity to be able to do that, and just don't quit. When you have the ups and downs, stay positive. You can do this. We are nothing special. On that team, there is nobody that's just a really standout special guy, pilot-wise. We're all good pilots, and we all work to become good pilots, but we're not some God's gift to aviation type deal. We're just regular old guys, and we have a really interesting job flying with the Titan team. Well, I love the T6, obviously. That's what I'm flying now. But I probably got more time in a 727 than any other aircraft, and I enjoyed that airplane. It was steam gauges and flight engineer and older technology and everything, but I liked that airplane a lot. And then flew the DC-10 with Northwest and Delta. And that was a real nice, comfortable airplane to fly, and then retired off the Airbus. And the Airbus was a 330, was a great airplane also, had a great airline career. It was a lot of fun. They get, and I always tell the students when they're going in, regardless of how the outcome of the check ride is, that your instructor would not have sent you up here unless he felt like you were ready. And you obviously did something in a stage check or in a pre-oral where the instructor said, yep, you're okay, you're ready to go. And just look at the ACS. That is where the questions are coming from. You know, I take the ACS and I tell them when I'm going in, I said the questions I'm going to ask you are based on subjects that are right here in the ACS. And if you know these things I'm going to ask, you're going to pass. I'm not trying to fail people. It's a big pain in the butt paperwork-wise if you fail somebody. And I hate paperwork and computers. So I'm trying to pass them, but at the same time, they've got to know the material, because when I put my head down and go to sleep at night, I don't want to be thinking about this kid that I just passed and have second thoughts about, man, really I shouldn't have passed him because he did so and so. I don't have that. You know, he meets the standards or they don't meet the standards. And if you don't meet the standards, what do? You go back, you get more dual, you get corrected on whatever problems you had during the check ride, and you come back and do it again. You know, it's not rocket science. Nobody is perfect in this aviation field. And, you know, it's just a stepping stone. If you had a bad day, you can have a bad day and fail a check ride. You can not know something about you really need to know this. And then I always try to debrief the instructors also on whether it's a good or bad check ride, and let them know, hey, well prepared, you know, he did a good job. Or, hey, you know, you might want to consider, you know, a little bit more in this area here. He passed, he was safe, but, you know, I had to dig around to get the answer out of him, that kind of stuff. And you know, it's not like I said, I don't think there's a DPE out there that's trying to fail a student. They fail themselves because they either weren't taught and weren't prepared, or else they just got in and had a bad day. Oh, of course, my dad taught me to fly, so, you know, I love my dad, and you know, he was an instructor, and I you know, feel like he did a good job getting me started and get me, you know, up to a sophomore level in college before I ever got there with all the ratings that I got. And then, but mentors that I've had, you know, when I think about general aviation now, and I think about flying like we're doing right now, Steve Gustafson's dad, Merle Gustafson. Steve flies left wing on the team. I flew air shows back in the late 70s with Merle, and he was always very encouraging. You know, Marion Cole Brothers Air Show, did some aerobatic training with him back in the 70s, and he was an inspiration to, you know, hey, just keep working at it. You're doing fine, keep working, you know. And Charlie Hammonds from Houma, Louisiana, kind of a hero from the float plane flying days that I did when I was born and raised in New Iberia and did float plane flying there. Paul Fournette Air Service, Paul Fournette at Lafayette, Louisiana. Those are the guys that I remember. Ed LaSalle at Pelican Aviation. You know, what I find is it's the people that I was looking up to, the mentors. Corky Fornoff, good friend of mine now, and I can remember watching him and his dad fly the Bearcats, you know, and I think about that now that I'm doing flying and being able to do what I do in the aerobatic world, and was fortunate enough this past year to take Corky up and actually put him in the backseat of the T6, and we went out and flew with him, you know. So it's just a lot of fun to look back and still see those guys and be able to talk to them and thank them for, hey, appreciate what you did for me back when I was, you know, wanting to do this. To me, it's the ultimate air show, because, you know, it is, I think, probably one of the biggest air shows in the world for a week. And it's an honor to come up here and fly. You know, we get to see a lot of people that we don't get to see during the year. We'll come back and meet them doing poster signings or whatever. And, you know, it's just a lot of fun to be up here. And every year, Oshkosh is different. You can come one year and say, well, I've been there and done that, but you really haven't, because this year, the drones, when they flew the drones the other night, on Wednesday night, I was like, I've never seen anything like that before, you know. 2 years ago, it wasn't here. And so there's always something new in aviation that's out there, and you're going to see it a lot of times firsthand at Oshkosh, and it's a lot of fun to fly the air show up here. We love doing the night show. We will fly this coming Saturday night. We flew last Wednesday night, and that's always a fun air show to fly. Generally the conditions are good, it's cooler, the airplanes perform better, and it's just a lot of fun to fly up here.